Welcome to the Working Tools Podcast, where today we will be interviewing Most Worshipful Brother Arthur Smith, Grand Master of the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge of Ancient Free and Accepted Masons of British Columbia and Yukon.
Ladies and gentlemen, brethren all, welcome to the Working Tools Podcast, a casual conversation around Freemasonry. First, it's important to note that our thoughts and opinions are our own and do not reflect those of our Grand Lodge or respective craft or concordant bodies. Please connect with us and ask questions via our website at theworkingtoolspodcast.com.
Today on the Working Tools Podcast, we have our usual group of hosts. We have Very Worshipful Brother David Colbeth from King Solomon Lodge number 60 in Auburn, Washington. Worshipful Brother Jarrod Dunham from Penticton number 147 in Penticton, British Columbia. Worshipful Brother Stephen Chung from Prince Charles number 153 in Kelowna, BC. And I'm Matt Appel, and I'm a member of Mill Creek number 243 here in Montlake Terrace, Washington. And we are very pleased to have with us today our Most Worshipful Brother Arthur Smith, who's the Most Worshipful Grand Master, the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons, Ancient Free and Accepted Masons of British Columbia and Yukon. And so, welcome, Most Worshipful Sir. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you. It's glad to be here.
So we usually start these interviews with just a few questions about your personal background. So, how did you come to be a Mason? What got you started in this, coming down this track?
I stopped drinking. I know that this sounds crazy, but I stopped drinking going on 33 years ago. And I had a friend who I had lost contact with over a period of time. And I didn't know at the time, but he was a Freemason. And out of the blue, he invited me to a barbecue at his place. And I've known this he's younger than me. I'd known him since he was 21. And I knew him as a young electrician and what have you. And at this particular time, he'd since moved to Nanaimo and he had 2 children, and we lost touch for a few years. Sorry, he had 1 child, and we lost touch for a few years. And he invited me to a pig roast, and I went to the pig roast. I seen him, and I seen him talking to a group of men in one corner of the barbecue. I thought, it's a bit strange. And then he came over and he was talking to me and I was talking to him. And then the connection started again. We became connected up again. And at that time, I owned a piece of property in the New Spey. I hope I'm not boring you to tears with this, am I? It's not too long, is it? Okay,
that's why we got you.
Just thought I'd ask. I don't want to see this happening, right? So we visited quite a bit after that, but I noticed a change in him as a man. Okay, and if you can imagine, I was looking for something different in my life, completely different. But I noticed a change in him, and when I say a change, I mean for the good. I mean, it's like overnight, he had become a man, but as we say, a just and upright man. And I said, Rob, I can't. We sat on my porch, and I said, I can't put my finger on it. I just can't. But you've changed. I know you've got William, his son. I said, but you've changed. There's something changed in your life that has made you different. And I said, not in a bad way, in a good way. And these are the exact words that he said to me. Don't laugh at me, but I've become a Freemason. Okay. I said, I won't laugh at you. I said, and if that's what it has done for you, I would love the same to be done for me. So, so where do I sign up? And that was the start of my Masonic journey. I joined Ashlar Lodge, of which he became the master of the lodge, right? I've never looked back from the day they took the blindfold off, as in my EA degree, to today. It has been the same every day. My enthusiasm for Freemasonry has never changed, never ever changed. I love it like everything else, or it's just a natural thing. And at Grand Lodge, when I was installed and I gave my address, I don't write anything down. So I don't know whether I don't write speeches. I don't write. When I talk, I just talk and as it is. And I asked a young guy the night before, we were stood on a balcony on the hotel, and I said, the same thing as how are you enjoying your Freemason? And he couldn't have put it any better. He said, it becomes a way of life. And he's right, absolutely right. It does become a way of life. I mean, look at us sat here now. I see what Steve, I'm sorry I don't know you three brethren that well, but I see Steve. Steve is just the same today as the day that I met him in Prince Charles Lodge a few years ago. He's still as enthusiastic and still loves doing what he does. And I guess it's the same with you guys. It gets in your blood, so to say. So that is where I started, where I am. I moved to the mainland. I affiliated with the DeWolf Lodge. I went right through the chairs. I'd already been through some chairs in Ashlar. I moved through the chairs, became worshipful master, and I had to sit 2 years in the master's chair because the senior warden took really ill. In actual fact, he passed before he could be installed. So I did 2 years, of which I have no regret. I finished that. They asked me to be the master of Tuscan Lodge, and it is no longer here. They handed in their charter, and I've got to make this excuse here. It was no fault of mine. Okay, it wasn't because I was the master that they handed in the charter. I've been a master for. I was there for 2 years, and I was a master for Vimy Lodge, which is a Canadian working lodge, for a year and a half. So I've had my share of masterships. Then I became a district deputy, and then I thought I had more to offer, so I entered into the thing of becoming a junior Grand Warden through, as they say, through my hat in the ring, and the rest is history. Here I am today.
That's terrific. When I missed it, when did you say you had actually joined the lodge? Was that?
Oh, sorry, 1995, I do believe.
Oh, that's great.
There's a little similarity with our immediate past Grandmaster, because he was invited to barbecues as well. Ed Woods.
Ed Woods, yeah,
was at a barbecue, and a couple of times he had visited the barbecues, and he wasn't getting the signal, and finally, they kept inviting him. But at least you noticed something different. That was great.
Yeah, it was. I and that's the honest truth. I mean, you could get Rob on here one night if you want and ask him how we came together. But he helped me through my, with my memory work, yeah, it was great. I had a great time. Still do have a great time. I love visiting the brethren. I love meeting people. I guess that's, why I'm here. I'm not saying I'm going to change Freemasonry forever, but I'd like to think that I could make a dent in it in this year, with the things that I would like to accomplish. It's not, like I say, we'll never change Freemasonry, the principles, the landmarks, the ritual, but we can bring us together. I think we forget about a few things. I don't know whether that's enough of me talking about myself, or because I don't like doing it. I really don't. Do not like talking about myself.
One of the things that that you've had the rare opportunity to do is to be the worshipful master for 2 consecutive terms. There's several worshipful masters wish they had that opportunity to do the second term, because just as they're getting the hang of it, poof, it's over, and then they're out of the chair. And to do a second year as master, there's a lot of worshipful masters I've spoken to that have said, I wish I had gotten to do a second year, because by the time I had done the first year, I think I was actually prepared properly to do my year. And and then it's poof, over, right?
Yeah, you are absolutely right, Steve. Absolutely right. The first year I was master, you're trying to get everything right, just perfect. Make sure you're crossing the T's and dotting all the I's. And in the second year, I was amazed how much more relaxed, and that relaxation, it passes to the lodge. Whatever you do in the East, this is my philosophy. Enthusiasm starts in the East. If you're an enthusiastic master, that permeates through the lodge like you wouldn't believe. Okay, what are we doing this week? What are we doing? We got education, we have this, we have that. And that enthusiasm, I think, lifts the brethren. And I really enjoyed my time as master, and that's what I intend to do as the Grand Master of BC and Yukon.
That's great. Yeah, I've said more than once that I can see both sides of an argument for and I don't want to use the word advertising, but us getting more out there in the community and being more public. And if we just go out there and we're good men and true, that people will sort of gravitate to us and say, hey, what, like you were just saying, what is it that is different about this man? What happened? How can I emulate this? And it's definitely a powerful message when you hear that from someone such as yourself.
In my address, in my acceptance address, forget where it is. Oh, I just got it today because I didn't write it down. Trevor had to listen to the recording and type it out as he was going, because he asked me for it. I said, I don't have a copy. I don't even know. I know what my intent of saying was, and that was all part of it there, Matt. It was, I don't know whether I'm stepping into the second segment here or whether, no, just go ahead.
Wherever we are, just yeah. Follow the path wherever it leads.
My address was, we help every kind of charity that comes to us, and we're always there. We are always there. And my message was, let's move forward to basics. In other words, let's look again at our obligations, our charges, everything else, and let's help one another. We can't help people, the outside world, if we can't help one another. We have to help one another to do that. And, if we do that and we bring respect, and we teach our newer brethren how to be as Freemasons, I don't believe you need an advertisement. We are the best advertisement you would ever get. And my slogan is Freemasons helping Freemasons, but my slogan this year is act, talk, think, and feel like a Freemason. If you can do that, people will notice that you are different in a good way. It's very easy to get noticed in a bad way, but it's more difficult to get noticed in a good way. When people say, you know, he's a good man, and then somebody says, well, you know, he's a Freemason. I think we are our best advertisement ourselves. And if we do those things, like we say that we should do, but if we start to remember that that's what we should be doing, I don't think we can go wrong. This thing of ours that I say it's ours, and it is ours. It'll go on for centuries to come. All right, we may have highs and lows, but it'll go on for centuries to come. I think we're going to see a different face of Masonry. I don't think the freestanding lodge stands a chance now in these towns and cities, because they're getting taxed out of. I'm a member of a lodge here in Port Coquitlam, and they're getting taxed out of that lodge like you won't believe. I mean, I can remember I sat on the Temple Society, and I can remember the taxes being $4,000. They're now $34,000. It's like the taxing us out of our own buildings. So we've got to do something to combat that. And I think we as Grand Lodge have got to, you know, give them the pointers of what they can do and what they can't do. Maybe 2 or 3 lodges get together, build a big new Masonic centre. One piece of land, 3 lodges take ownership in it. You know, let's put it together. I mean, I look down here, there's New Westminster, prime example. The best example of all is Kamloops Lodge. Kamloops number 10. I mean, they have when they undertook that building 30 odd years ago, I think it was, everybody was going, oh, will this work? Well, look at it now. It's now the city want to buy it off them. They've already got another piece of property, and they're building a new centre. So there we go. It can be done.
So David and I had the opportunity to go to Grand Masonic Day, and we spoke briefly then. But the facility that was in was just fabulous, and I, from what I understand, I haven't been to the Kamloops Center, but is that a similar arrangement where there's residential housing above?
It's residential housing up above, and it's the lodge and banquet room down below. But it's like I say, it was a big undertaking when it was first done. It's like the one downtown on 7th. Well, it's on 7th. It used to be 8th and Granville, but it's 7th and Granville because that's where the main entrance is. But yeah, beautiful building, but on exactly the same principle as Kamloops. It's all rental, and in I forget how many years projected, there'll be X amount of millions going into that building. So it's you know, we are one of the only, well, I would say that we are the only fraternity in the world that could put something together like that, because we all know what we're there for. We're not there to make money off another Mason. We're there to make sure that Masonry continues long after, well, I've gone. I'm older than you guys, but I've gone. So, yeah, I would like to think that we'd leave something for the newer Mason, you know, the EA or whoever. And I think we have to listen to young Masons as well. That's another part of my thing.
Well, and this summer you've been busy getting around. It's not been a I think you've been hair straight back, as they say, since installation. Even though it's summertime, I think you've got a pretty full schedule on your plate, don't you?
Yes. That, by the way, that wasn't beer. That was the alkalized beer. It's Corona, and it's what I've had to change my little office around here, so I'm still in a bit of an uproar. Yes, Steve, I have been to the weekend after Grand Lodge. I was in Courtney on the island. Last weekend I was in Sandon. I don't know whether you know where Sandon is. It's an old, well, they call it a ghost town, but it's an old mining town in the West Kootenays. Fascinating to me. And it's got its own power station. It sells the power to the hydro here, puts it on the grid, but it just moves constantly, and it was well worth a trip. But like I say, I love meeting the brethren that possibly couldn't get down to Grand Lodge. I think that's part of my job. I really do. I think this jurisdiction comes first.
That's awesome. And so you've obviously had a busy start to your year. You got another month of summer left. Are you busy traveling or making plans for the
next weekend? I go down to Granite Falls. The brethren from Washington know where Granite Falls is. The weekend after, I go to Barkerville. I don't want to see that die. I want to, because of COVID, we couldn't attend because of the mining company buying up a lot of the accommodation. A lot of brethren, had nowhere to stay. Well, this year I said, I don't care if I have to stay in Quesnel, but we're not going to let that church parade on a Sunday morning die.
Did they figure out another solution for accommodations?
Yes, we're staying in. Some of us are staying in the Wells Hotel, where you have to back into the room and then put a beeper on to back out. It's a really big room, right? So you don't have enough room to change your mind. But a lot of brethren are camping. They've all doubled up on trailers and motorhomes and stuff like that. Some are staying in Quesnel, which is, I think, a 40-minute drive from Barkerville, and they're going to come in that way. And as I say, I just don't want to see, because we have the presence of the lodge there since 1869. I think it's only right that we should still have our presence, even if it's only that church parade. I know they meet there during the summer months and later on, but I think our presence should still be there so people know that there is still Freemasons that attend that lodge. So the church parade is a good way of doing it.
Excellent. And so your I guess first summer in the chair has been a busy one according to your schedule, and your plans for September, hitting the ground running.
September, I have this here. I'm advertising this evening. It's called the Hive Festival. Okay, it's going to be held in Falkland. This is the first. I hope that there's another one that will grow. It's first time. We have taken over a campground in Falkland. You'll love the name of this lake, Pillar Lake.
What is it?
Pillar Lake. And we have taken over the campground. We have the full campground, the boats, the pontoon boats, for everything for the weekend, for the September long weekend. And the campground is sold out already. The cabins are sold out. So it should be a good weekend. And I'm looking forward to it because it's for families, right? It's for Masonic families. Or anybody that wants to come. You don't have to be a district deputy to go. You can be an EA or the new word is a seeker, which I don't like, but a candidate for Freemasonry. If you wanted to go with a Freemason, you can do. You can come for the day. You can just hang out, and so there's going to be barbecues, music, games, fishing
Oh.
derby. Yeah,
I
looking forward to it.
I did not get any information about this. I knew that you were doing something in
It's not me.
on the September long. You were going to be
Yeah.
somewhere in the Okanagan.
Yeah.
But who's putting this on?
It's Mount Elphinstone Lodge,
Okay. Yeah, I've
Sunshine Coast.
never even heard about it.
Yeah.
That's too bad, but we can attend. We just
No, of
there's
course
no
you can.
there's
Daily.
no
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
For sure. There are some people I do believe that don't like camping and what have you, staying in Vernon.
Wow. Okay.
Going into hotels in Vernon and then just coming down by, I think there's a bus laid on what do you call it? A shuttle bus. Yeah.
All right. Well, that would be good to know. Okay. I'll get
Later
more
on in
information
September, I
on
go
that.
each weekend in September. I just so happen to have my itinerary here, Steve. I don't know whether you know that, but I have my itinerary here, and the next in the 16th of September. That's 1st to the 4th. The 16th, I'm in. It's Prince Rupert District, or Kitsilus 123 Terrace. The weekend after, it's a consecration of installation of North Shore Lodge number 93, a new lodge that has been combined of 3 lodges, right? What we were talking about before.
Yep.
And then it's North Vancouver Island District, Cumberland Lodge on the 30th. So I'm busy every weekend and some days through the week there.
Excellent.
Because I do know I have an installation to attend.
Right. And we should make sure that we get the Grand Master's calendar for your year and throw a link into our show posting so that people can see where you're going to be and what you got on the bill.
Sure.
Yeah, as the guy who doesn't do that, I'll say, yeah, we'll definitely do that. we'll have David work on that. Well, our time here is wrapping up. Is Grandmaster, would you mind hanging out for another episode with us here, another segment like this?
Not a problem. Not a problem.
All right, great. Well, thank you, and thank you for being here with us. We really appreciate it. And this will air after the event, but I'm actually going to miss the Granite Falls 3rd degree, unfortunately, next weekend. But it's great. It's one of my favorite things, actually. The different Grand Lodges getting together.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, thank you, Grandmaster, for appearing on the show, and on behalf of David and Jarrod and Stephen and myself, we thank you all for listening to the Working Tools podcast. Goodbye.
Thank you.